The afternoon sun cast warm light across the busy downtown street, where 34-year-old Jake Morrison was walking home from his auto repair shop, his gray t-shirt still bearing traces of motor oil from another long day fixing cars and helping customers get back on the road. As a single father raising his 7-year-old daughter Sophie, Jake had built his reputation on fair prices and honest work, often going the extra mile to help families who were struggling financially. Jake had learned the value of kindness from his own difficult experiences. After losing his wife in a car accident 3 years earlier, he had faced the challenge of raising Sophie alone while keeping his small business afloat. The community had rallied around them during those dark months, and Jake had never forgotten how much those acts of generosity had meant when he felt most lost and overwhelmed. As Jake walked down the street, he heard the unmistakable sound of a car engine struggling to start. The repeated attempts, followed by silence, told him immediately that someone was having serious mechanical trouble. His instincts, as both a mechanic and a helpful neighbor, kicked in, and he looked around to locate the source of the problem. Across the street, he saw a sleek black sedan with its hood raised and a woman in a navy business suit standing beside it, her blonde hair catching the sunlight as she spoke on her phone with obvious frustration. Even from a distance, Jake could see the tension in her posture and the way she gestured helplessly at the engine. What caught Jake's attention even more was the little girl sitting in the passenger seat of the car. She appeared to be about Sophie's age, wearing a pretty pink dress with her hair in pigtails tied with matching ribbons. The child was watching her mother with the kind of worried expression that children wear when they sense their parent is stressed about something they cannot fix. Jake crossed the street and approached the car with the easy confidence of someone who had solved thousands of automotive problems. The woman looked up from her phone call as he drew near, and he was struck by the intelligence in her green eyes, even though they were currently clouded with worry and exhaustion. "Excuse me," Jake said politely. "I could not help but notice you are having car trouble. I am Jake Morrison, and I own Morrison Auto Repair just down the street. Would you mind if I took a look?" The woman ended her phone call and studied Jake for a moment, clearly weighing whether to trust a stranger with her expensive vehicle. "I am Elena Hartwell," she replied. "I was just calling for a tow truck, but they said it would be at least 2 hours before they could get here." Jake noticed the little girl in the car was listening intently to their conversation, her eyes moving back and forth between the adults with the keen interest that children show when they are trying to understand grown-up problems. "Well, Elena, before you spend money on a tow truck, why do not I take a quick look? Sometimes these problems are simpler than they seem, and if I can get you running again, it will save you time and money." Elena hesitated, then glanced at her daughter through the car window. "That would be very kind of you, Mr. Morrison. I have an important meeting across town, and I am already running late." Jake rolled up his sleeves and leaned over the engine, his experienced eyes quickly identifying the problem. A loose battery connection had caused the car to lose power, a simple fix that would take less than 5 minutes with the right tools. "Good news," Jake announced, straightening up. "It is just a loose battery terminal. I have the tools I need right here, and I can have you back on the road in no time." As Jake worked on the car, Elena watched with a mixture of relief and gratitude. "Mr. Morrison, you are a lifesaver. How much do I owe you for this?" Jake tightened the final connection and wiped his hands on a rag from his pocket. "Please call me Jake, and you do not owe me anything. This was a 5-minute job, and I was happy to help." Elena looked genuinely surprised. "Jake, I cannot let you work for free. This car is my lifeline for getting to work and taking care of my daughter. You have saved my entire day." Jake smiled, glancing at the little girl who was now smiling broadly from the passenger seat. "I have a daughter about the same age, and I know how important it is to have reliable transportation when you are responsible for a child. Consider it a favor from one parent to another." At that moment, the little girl rolled down her window and leaned out to speak to Jake. "Thank you for fixing our car, Mr. Jake. My name is Lily, and I think you are very nice." Jake's heart warmed at the child's politeness and genuine appreciation. "It is my pleasure, Lily. That is a beautiful dress you are wearing." Lily beamed with pride, then looked at her mother and back at Jake with the kind of serious expression that children sometimes wear when they are considering important matters. "Mr. Jake, do you have a little girl too?" "I do," Jake replied. "Her name is Sophie, and she is 7 years old, just like you." Elena started the car, and the engine purred. To life perfectly. "Jake, I really cannot thank you enough. Is there anything I can do to repay your kindness?" Jake was about to decline when Lily spoke up again, her voice carrying that innocent directness that only children possess. "Mommy, maybe Mr. Jake and his daughter could come have dinner with us sometime. That would be a nice way to say thank you." Elena looked slightly embarrassed by her daughter's bold suggestion, but Jake could see something in her expression that suggested the idea was not entirely unwelcome. "That is very sweet of you, Lily," Jake said gently. "Your mom is probably very busy, and I do not want to impose." Elena surprised him by saying, "Actually, that is not a bad idea. I would love to cook dinner for you and Sophie as a proper thank you. Would this Saturday evening work?" Over the following week, Jake found himself looking forward to Saturday dinner more than he had anticipated. When he and Sophie arrived at Elena's home, they discovered a beautifully prepared meal and a warm, welcoming atmosphere that felt like something they had been missing without realizing it. During dinner, Jake learned that Elena was a successful corporate lawyer who had been raising Lily alone since her divorce 2 years earlier. Like Jake, she had struggled to balance the demands of work with the needs of her daughter, often feeling stretched thin between her professional responsibilities and her desire to be a good mother. Sophie and Lily hit it off immediately, bonding over their shared love of drawing and their mutual understanding of what it meant to have only one parent. They spent the evening creating elaborate pictures together while the adults talked about everything from their children's school experiences to their hopes and dreams for the future. As the evening wound down, Lily approached Jake with a drawing she had made. "Mr. Jake, I drew a picture of you fixing our car. See? That is you and Mommy and me, and we all look happy." Jake studied the drawing, which showed 3 stick figures standing beside a car with big smiles on their faces. "This is beautiful, Lily. Thank you for making this for me." Lily looked around to make sure the other adults were busy with their conversation, then leaned close to Jake and whispered something that would change the course of all their lives. "Mr. Jake, I think you should marry my mommy. She has been sad for a long time, but she smiles a lot when she talks to you. And Sophie could be my sister, and we could all be a family." Jake felt his breath catch at the child's innocent but profound observation. "Lily, that is a very big decision that grown-ups have to make carefully. But I think your mommy is wonderful, and I am glad we are friends." Lily nodded seriously, as if she had expected this response, but wanted to plant the seed of the idea anyway. "I will ask Sophie what she thinks too. Maybe if we both want the same thing, it will happen." 6 months later, Jake and Elena had indeed become much more than friends. Their relationship had developed naturally through shared dinners, family outings, and the gradual realization that they complemented each other in ways neither had expected to find again. Jake had discovered that Elena's intelligence and strength were matched by a warmth and humor that made even ordinary moments feel special. Elena had found in Jake a kindness and dependability that provided the stability she had been seeking for both herself and Lily. Sophie and Lily had become inseparable, more like sisters than friends, and both children had flourished in the expanded family structure that gave them additional love and support. On a sunny Saturday afternoon, exactly 1 year after their first meeting, Jake proposed to Elena in the same spot where he had fixed her car. Sophie and Lily were both present, having been part of the planning process and eagerly awaiting the moment when their families would officially become one. "Elena, Jake said as he knelt beside the car that had brought them together. "A year ago, I thought I was just helping a stranger with a mechanical problem. What I discovered was that you and Lily were exactly what Sophie and I needed to make our family complete." Elena said yes through happy tears, while Lily and Sophie cheered and hugged each other with the satisfaction of children who had seen their most important wish come true. At their wedding 6 months later, both girls served as flower girls, walking down the aisle together with grins that could have lit up the entire church. During the reception, Lily approached Jake with another drawing, this one showing 4 stick figures holding hands under a big heart. "Mr. Jake," Lily said, though she now called him Dad in their daily life, "remember when I told you that you should marry Mommy?" Jake smiled, thinking back to that whispered conversation that had started him thinking seriously about the possibility of love after loss. "I remember very clearly, Lily." Lily grinned with satisfaction. "I am very good at knowing what people need, am I not?" Jake lifted her up in a hug, marveling at how this wise little girl had seen what the adults had needed time to discover. "Yes, Lily, you are excellent at knowing what people need. Thank you for helping us become a family." As Jake looked around, the reception at their friends and family celebrating their new beginning, he reflected on how a simple act of kindness had led to the greatest gift of his life. He had stopped to fix a stranger's car because it was the right thing to do, never imagining that in helping Elena, he would find the love and partnership that would heal his own heart and create a beautiful future for all 4 of them. Sometimes, Jake thought, the most important repairs we make are not to engines and machines, but to hearts and families. And sometimes it takes the wisdom of children to show adults what love looks like and to remind them that families can be built not just through blood, but through choice, commitment, and the daily decision to care for one another.